more horses. We're actually here in the kitchen, beautiful kitchen that unfortunately we haven't gotten to use yet because of everything that's happened with the coronavirus and social distancing stuff. But this kitchen is, Portfolio has done the design and all the materials around here, and here's Rock Top KC, did our countertops, and so we're super lucky to have a lot of people that have helped us out a lot here. So I'm going to start today talking a little bit about how to talk to your kids when this stuff's going on. I've gotten a lot of questions about that, and you guys might have some questions as well. There's some basic rules, and I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not a kid specialist, but some basic rules for working with kids come from my friend Annie Seal, who's a child life specialist, and then also the wife of a cop. So she's great and has really kind of helped me out with this section. The biggest, I think, important thing to think about is answer your kids' questions. So when they have questions and you don't answer them, you're kind of sort of sending a message that there's something wrong about asking. So you do want to be able to answer your kids' questions. Now, if some of the questions you don't have answers for or you don't know, I think it's also okay to say, hey hon, I don't know. That's okay too, but you just don't want to turn them away when they ask questions, because then it makes them think that they can't talk to you, and of course you want them to be able to talk to you about that. The other thing I'd say is don't kind of dismiss any kind of fears that they have. Any fear that they have is real to them, so just kind of acknowledge it and then say, hey, here's the things that we can control to make it better, make it more likely for us to be all right. And sometimes kids just need to be acknowledged for the fear that they have, and just simply say, I know, bud, that is kind of scary. We're going to do whatever we can to kind of cope with it. The other thing that we probably say is keep routines normal as possible. I know there's a ton of pressure on parents to make sure everything's okay, and like you're doing your homeschool stuff, and then you also have to do your work from home stuff, and it's a lot of pressure on parents. But I will say, try to keep routines normal. Try to keep dinner time at the same general time, try to keep bedtime at the same time, but then also understand we're gonna have to be really flexible, and that's actually good for kids to learn too, when to be flexible and then when to kind of buckle down. And so you can model that in that time for your family as well. I'd also say, don't pretend like nothing's wrong with you. If you're having a stressful day, you might not need to tell them all the details of why you're having a stressful day, but just kind of acknowledge, yeah, today was tough too. And this definitely goes for my first responder parents as well. If you just had a bad shift, it's okay to come home and say, hey, mom or dad just had a rough shift. It's all gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. But I just need a few minutes to, talk about it or think about it. Hey, how about tell me about your day? You can also switch topic a little bit too. That can be really helpful. The big picture though is that when there's stress in the home, make sure you're talking about it and modeling how to handle it. So you want to model good, healthy coping behaviors for them. So you want to be able to say, yeah, I am stressed out right now with all this. Hey, let's go for a walk. I know I always feel better when I go for a walk. And your kid is watching that. They're learning a ton from you about that kind of stuff. So I really encourage parents to keep doing that. Sometimes I get a question about when am I telling my kid too much, or am I exposing them to too much if I do talk about it? Here's the golden rule. Annie Seal pitches this all the time. She says the coolest thing about kids is when they're done talking about it, they will just simply walk away. And that's when you know to just stop talking. So they might ask you a question, you give them an answer, and as soon as they're good, the cool thing about kids is they'll go, okay, and they'll go find something else to do, which is really helpful. So those are my tips for kind of talking with kids through this stressful time period, and I will have more coming up in the future.